me, and welcome to episode 23 of the Weekly Whisper. I'm your host, Elian Habanero, and I'm here to talk all things 365. Now, as of yesterday, there was some great news. We are getting closer, people. In the Waterloo region of Ontario, where the 365 predominantly runs their shows, Phase 2 of the reopening of, the economy and whatnot, and the public, has been chalked in to start this Friday coming up. And that means places of worship, such as churches, are allowing gatherings of up to 30%. People are allowed to mingle with other people of groups up to 10. So it should only be a couple more months before we're back, and live events will be allowed for professional wrestling, some good stuff. And, even when that starts, I'm sure there'll be certain different restrictions, and I'm sure it'll be a different feel. But it's just going to be so nice to have wrestling back. And out in BC, out that way, specifically Vancouver Island, where 365 hold their events, it could even be faster there, as I don't think they have hardly any cases of the coronavirus out there, and there's a lot more spacing, like less population, except for Victoria, where there's not as many, the areas are not as populated, so perhaps things could be on the rise there as well, and it's just exciting. And of course the YouTube channel that I always like to plug just keeps chugging away. 20 new subscribers in the last week alone. People are starting to catch on that there's going to be daily content on there, and that there's always something to see. And a lot of people think, oh, these matches are just recycled. A lot of these matches have never been seen before, except for with people's personal collections. There was DVDs, and a lot of them weren't even made on DVDs. They were just taped to be released in the future, but the future is now. A lot of this stuff has not been seen before, so it's technically new content. And man, what a library, what a vault, what a collection of matches they have up there. I believe it's like 1,400 videos now. So of course, make sure you subscribe. And big shout out to Big Ticket Reggie Marley, who came by and dropped off a huge bag of tapes that hopefully will start coming up in the next couple days. It's so nice to look back at those classic videos and see guys that were part of the 365 and their come up and everything else like that. And I know some people prefer watching the videos on Facebook. Like some people, they see it on social media, on Twitter or Facebook, and then they see the YouTube links, but they prefer to just watch it right there on Facebook instead of clicking away. And sometimes it's easier for the particular devices that they have. And I know that there's going to be a spirited effort to regularly start uploading videos on Facebook, and there's even a chance that some money could go in the 365's pocket there. But you got to help out. You got to like the 365 Facebook page, and that just helps get it going even more, even quicker. So if that's your preferred destination for watching these videos, then help out and share the 365 page and get other people to click like on it. And every year, usually 365 is usually represented in Ontario and BC for some kind of Canada Day celebrations. They, over the years, have done a lot of Cambridge ones in Cambridge, Ontario for Canada Day, and they've done a lot in Campbell River, British Columbia for Canada Day. Now, with the festivities not able to take place this year, 365 has found a way to still be a part of it, and it's going to be a great thing. In Campbell River, they're doing an online Campbell River Canada Day celebration viewing experience to put over local talent from Campbell River and local businesses and stuff like that, and 365 has been selected to be a part of that. And even if you're not in that area, it will be up online to view, so it'll be nice to see 365 represented well in the Campbell River Canada Day online celebrations. And a lot of people have been doing stuff. I know I'm at a challenge that people got to start being more creative, and I guess it's hard. A lot of people are going back to work now, but I do see that the Unfinished Basement podcast has been plugging away. I believe they have 7 episodes out now, which is Jeff Black, Letty Lilac, and Sabrina Kyle. I got their link on the Facebook. I believe there's a page you can go and like, the Unfinished Basement podcast, so shout out to them. 3 of my favorite people, and it's nice to see them doing good things. I love listening to their show. I personally have been getting myself involved in doing like online promo challenges for like other wrestlers and managers in Ontario, and I just want to thank everybody for their support as I'm in the top 4, which I believe will resume tomorrow. and it's going to be hard to get any farther than that. But I can live with top 4, but obviously I'm striving to get even higher up in the rankings, and I just thank you for the overwhelming support. And people seem to love the top 5 things I've been doing. I mean, I've been getting a lot of comments about them, and make sure you comment. I love the comments, and I love hearing what other people say in their opinions, because this is just my opinion. I just get lists, and I've had suggestions for lists, and I thank everybody that has submitted their suggestions as far as like other topics I could do, and I've had some really good ones submitted, and I really appreciate that. Vanessa sent me some really good ones. I've seen a couple other ones online that I've picked up on, and I'm going to do a couple here today. So let's do it. We got, and people love sending their, and remember, this is just mine. I just quickly do it up. There's no rhyme or reason. Whoever pops in my head. It's not well thought out. I miss people all the time, and I put people in that shouldn't be all the time, but it is also just opinion, so everybody's going to have a different list. So let's do the top 5 women in the history of the 365 PWA. So let's do top 5. We're going to go with Cece Moss, who only really had a year or 2, maybe 3, involved with 365 PWA, but she was very successful in that, being a part of the temple and being the last ever women's champ, which you can hear her talk all about on the recent podcast that just came out on the 365 podcast, which is available on Google, iTunes, YouTube, and Spotify. And then, so she gets the number 5 spot. Shout out to Cece Moss of the temple. In the number 4 spot, she was at the beginning and she was at the end. The Queen of Horror, Sabrina Kyle. She even did some managing at different points in time. I just recently watched a match of her managing Ice and Eddie Osborne in a handicap match against Tom Ryder from Binghamton's. And she's always made a great impression, either back in like 2006, 2007, or recently a part of Scumbag Royalty, and she faced Cece Moss in the last ever PWA women's match. So the number 4 spot is going to go to Sabrina Kyle, and that takes us to the number 3 spot, which is Misty Haven, one of the originators of the women's division in PWA. I believe she was the first ever Elite 8 women's tournament champion. Maybe not the first, but I know she did win it at some point. She won the PWA Elite Women's Championship as well. And man, a lot of her matches have been coming out recently on YouTube, and she was way ahead of her time. Such a good wrestler, so good at working with the new and upcoming talent, and still to this day, I think she did a comeback match about a year ago. But Misty Haven definitely deserves her spot in the top 3 of this list, in my opinion. And the number 2 and number 1, everybody's going to probably flip-flop back and forth. But I guarantee, in general, these 2 names are going to come up. But I had to do it the way I thought was in my head. I had to put Fox, 21st Century Fox, at number 2. Now, she was the innovator of the division. I don't know if she had the most ever women's matches in the history of 365 PWA. She won the championship a bunch of times, but I gotta give her the 2nd spot, and I gotta give Beautiful Bia the 1st spot, just because I feel Beautiful Bia was more familiar with people. She had more championship reigns, and I don't know, I think she had more maybe not, because PWA was running weekly, but Bia was more popular, as Fox was not always a fan favorite. So I gotta give the number 1 spot to Bia. So the top 5 women, in my opinion, of the history of 365 PWA goes Cece Moss at 5, Queen of Horror Sabrina Kyle at 4, number 3 Misty Haven, number 2 the 21st Century Fox, and number 1 the Beautiful Bia. And I got one more. We're gonna do now. This is a hard way to, I don't know how I'm gonna phrase this. Top 5 big names that were a part of PWA 365. Now, all the regular roster members, in my opinion, are big names. Most of them anyway. Like, most people know of all these people. But I mean, people who were brought in for certain shows or certain weekends that had a worldwide recognition and really helped the 365 PWA advertise their product and bring it to greater heights. And, you know, like famous wrestlers that everybody would know, not just the people in the circles that the 365 PWA run with. So let's do that. And, excuse me, at number 5, I have current AEW member, WWE Hall of Fame member, Jake the Snake Roberts comes in at number 5. He did an appearance at the Alpine Club back when it was PWA, and he helped Corey Spade get the win over Lenny Lilac with a DDT in the match. He also did some signings there, and it was great to see Jake out at the show. So he gets the 5 spot. Number 4, we got Hacksaw, Jim Duggan, who made a couple of different appearances. I think he made 3 different trips out to PWA. I know he did some shows in Niagara Falls and Brantford back in, I believe, 2006. And I know he did the one weekend there, the anniversary weekend for PWA. Not sure which year. I think it was the 12th year anniversary weekend. I got the privilege of performing with him as my tag team member against Reggie Marley and Brandon Hines, which is one of my favorite feathers in my caps from over my years. And Hacksaw was just a wonderful person, especially in the later years. Not as much of the first years, but he was great to have part of the PWA roster at different points. So he gets the number 4 spot. The number 3 spot, current WWE commentator, Samoa Joe. Now, he came in, it was the anniversary, no, it was the PWA Golden Ticket Rumble, a Holiday Hangover, I believe 2007, wrestled Eddie Osborne in quite an exciting matchup, and I just love that match, I always will. And Samoa Joe is, everybody in wrestling knows the name of Samoa Joe, and it was just great to have him as part of the alumni section of the 365 roster. So he gets the number 3 spot, probably because out of everyone that I've named, he probably had the best match, where some of these guys did not always have the greatest matches, just because they weren't able to physically do what they were able to do in their younger years. And so he was kind of in his prime there when he came in. And so at the number 2 spot, someone who I just was blessed to be a part of. He was so nice to my cameraman, and he was just a delight to have in the locker room. Just a good soul, bring a lot of prestige to the PWA 365 shows at the time, and I believe he won the Ontario Championship from Easy Air Kearney. Yes, I'm talking about the Vampire Warrior Gangrel. He gets the number 2 spot. And I would have gave him the number 1 spot, but I'll explain why the number 1 spot goes to Carlito, because he has done so many different shows with PWA over the years. I believe he's done 5 different trips to, he's done BC, he's done Ontario, he's probably wrestled the most matches out of all the names that I've dropped, and he was always a great guy to be a part of the locker room, and he deserves the number 1 spot in my opinion, for quality of matches and quantity of matches. Who is your top 5 big names, or big names to you, that were not regulars in PWA 365 that you enjoyed seeing come in and do some shows here and there? And who is your top 5 favorite women in the history of 365 PWA? And we also got to make sure that you like, or you get a leg drop, you comment, or you get a clothesline, you subscribe, or you get a suplex, and you share, or you get a sleeper. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!